Jim, let's get to some modern wrestling talk before we close out with some talk about something we promised the people a few weeks ago, WWE Unreal.
With other talk, we'll do this talk before we do the other talk.
Real quick, before we get going, I don't know if you've seen the images on social media. They're going around and a lot of people naturally are sending them over. Vince McMahon was on a special that I believe aired on Fox. I did not get to see it. It was a TMZ Hulk Hogan special, hosted by Harvey Levitt of TMZ, where he had a sit-down interview with Vince, remotely.
Yes.
In an office that had 14th and I behind him, his new corporate offices. Did you see any of the footage, or at least the images? Did you see anything?
I have seen a couple clips and a couple of the pictures that people were. My God, now he looks like Sputnik Monroe. It with the gray
Pepe Le Pew.
But what has he done? And folks, what I'm trying to describe, and I'm flabbergasted here, bumfuzzled. Before, when we saw him, he was the silent movie villain and his hair was jet black. Well, now a lot of it is still jet black, but there's a gray streak in the front where he looked like Sputnik Monroe if Sputnik was 5 minutes into his own cremation. And between that...
With a lilac-y tint.
With a lilac-y tint on his lips.
And his eyes.
Lips look no, that's not lilac around the eyes. That's some kind of shade of gonorrhea magenta. But hold on, we'll get to the eyes. The lips, it looks like that he's got some kind of tube in him that's literally sucking all the oxygen out of his body, because your lips turn blue when you're you're suffocating or whatever. And his cheeks and his chin now look like his dad, Vince Sr., but the shape of them, because he was a kind of a jowly fellow, never met him, unfortunately. But Vince Sr. aged naturally, I guess is the term to say, and also didn't make it to 80. So the rest of Vince's face, the eyes, it's like they're not, the holes of his eyes are getting smaller to where all you can see is the pupils peeking out. And it looks like is that rosacea or some skin condition around the eyes that caused them to look like two red piss holes in a snowbank?
See, I don't know, because the other thing is, as you're looking at visually what he looks like now, you hear his voice, and it's, hey, I mean, I do a bad, goofy, awful impression of it, but it's not too far off. He sounds so gruff now. So between the look and that, I can't imagine any meeting isn't uncomfortable. And that's before he says anything.
Yeah, it's like when he's looking at you, the eyes are so watery and constricted of some kind. It's like something's pleading to get out.
I'm sure there's plenty pleading to get out. What do you think about him being upset about not being invited to the Hulk Hogan tribute on Raw?
Well, that was the two things. He felt that Hogan didn't deserve to be booed like he was in Los Angeles. That was terrible, and he was offended at being left out of, or he didn't say offended, but he felt he should have been there. I can't remember the exact verbiage of it. That he should have been there on stage with everybody else. But here's the thing: it's TMZ. Now, for people who talk about fake news, I mean, does anybody even consider TMZ news, or do they know that it's puff pieces on celebrities? I would think so. There was no shocking unplowed ground that was covered in this, was there?
Not really. I mean, again, TMZ, it's typically stuff that celebrities want out there. Their publicists will say to the paparazzi, be here at 5. There's stuff that's unflattering to celebrities, and then there's just, hey, we're going to air 911 calls of celebrities you love, which is disgusting in my eyes. But this wasn't really a news thing. This was like them doing a Hogan special. We've been talking about, I think on this show, we joked about when will Vince be back on WWE TV. He's doing interviews. Again, Hogan dying is a big deal. Obviously, it affected him tremendously. He crashed his car 2 hours before it happened. He was so affected by it. But
The universe had told him what was about to take place.
But again, knowing that Vince McMahon has a company and a staff and a lot of money to burn, and they're looking for properties to purchase that Vince can run the creative of. Meanwhile, the Janelle Grant thing is still happening. Brock has just returned to WWF TV. I keep doing it. WWE TV. What do you think it says about the fact that Vince is reappearing publicly? Because this is the most we've really heard from him since that Netflix documentary, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are not that many Vince McMahon, television clips and interviews or magazine profiles or whatever these days. And it's when he's at a ball game, people tweet pictures of him. It's a Vince sighting in the wild. But I agree that, again, Hogan was a big deal. And I'm sure TMZ having Vince McMahon on and WWE having Vince McMahon on are two different things. Because, I mean, as you said, TMZ, plumbs the worst of the sewers of the celebrity world.
Yeah, no one's going to say, how dare you have him on your Hogan special? They'll just say, like, oh, wow, he was interviewed. Let's look at this freak.
And that's two different things. I still don't think there's a need or on either side for Vince to be back on WWE television. I think he probably agreed to do it with TMZ because, they're Hollywood, pal, or I can't. I don't want to do the hoarse voice now. I'll destroy my voice.
Because he wants to be out there. That's the other thing. I think Vince would love to be, despite the way he looks and the way he sounds, I think he wants to be out there in the public because he thinks that's the way he could defend himself. That's why he reappeared on SmackDown right after everything happened,
Do you think that it's just that nobody else has asked him to be out there in the public so far?
Probably no one else has asked him to be out in the public while agreeing to not ask questions about the Janelle Grant case or any other sexual harassment among former female talent in WWE.
Or anything else except...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that he was at the Hogan funeral and Laurinaitis was too. What was that like?
Awkward.
Right?
Jesus Christ.
Whole family's there and walks Laurinaitis.
Well, there was not... I'm trying to think of who was messing around with who and who was related to who, but was there... Is the Bella side of the family that has excommunicated Laurinaitis over the thing? Were they involved with the Hogan side of the family, or what kind of in-laws were present in this thing?
Oh, I can't speak to that. I believe Laurinaitis has no current affiliation with the Bellas.
He has no current affiliation with any family.
With any family at all.
As a result of,
The Laurinaitis family put out a statement and said, who? So, I mean, he's having a lot of problems right now. One last thing on Vince. If he had appeared on Raw, if WWE had invited him, they invited Nick Hogan and Jimmy Hart and Sergeant Slaughter and various people, Bruce front and center. If Vince was there, wouldn't it have...
I would have killed it.
It would have overpowered it. It would have become the story.
That would... No, if he's... I mean, Vince is brilliant in a self-promotional way, usually, and that he's saying, oh, yes, I was hurt. I should have been there, whatever, since it's already passed. And that, but if he really in any way wanted to honor Hulk Hogan, if they'd have been dumb enough to ask him to stand there front and center, he would have turned it down because he would have known that would be all that anybody would be looking at, concentrating on, talking about afterwards. It would have shit on the whole thing. And would Triple H have been able to do the promo if Vince was standing there next to him? Or would they have said, well, Vince, you do it. Can you imagine that?
And the talent who had an issue with standing there for the Hogan thing, which was a responsibility of being, one of the talent, I believe. They may have had a bigger issue if all of a sudden Vince was there for the first time on TV. Because again, it ushers in the idea they're making it regular for Vince to be around again.
Yes, that would never have worked. Somebody would have put a stop to it, I would think, before it ever got off the ground if it had been suggested and he was there.
Are you surprised?
One would think.
Are you surprised more people, seeing what happened with Linda McMahon's face and Vince's face, and they're not together and they live in different parts of the country, so I'm going to assume different doctors. That may not be a fair assumption. But are you surprised that more rich senior citizens don't sue plastic surgeons for the games they're playing on their face? I mean, what the like, there's no way Vince doesn't look better now than before he had whatever done.
Well, and or doo-doo. You know, as bad as it is, Linda looks worse. Linda looks like,
Yeah.
you know, the character in Arsenic and Old Lace, the brother that had his fucking face worked on by the plastic surgeon. So the criminal, they change his appearance. Linda's looks like it's fallen over. And I don't know, she was not a bad looking woman.
Yeah, other than her hair color, I never saw her and it's like, oh, she looks so old facially. I never thought that, ever.
But for fuck's sake, if she's 75 years old, then she ought to have some wrinkles. Why would anybody expect a 75-year-old person to walk around without wrinkles? It's
a bad battle.
Bizarre that you would want to. It's painful. Would it not be?
I would think so.
Have your face fucking operated on and all that other shit just for that?
Please shoot some more rat poison into my forehead. It makes me look young.
Jesus Christ, the fucking bad special effects on Lost in Space look more natural.
You call those special effects?
Well, I mean, you know, when they make the creature of the week, you know, she looks like her face has come out of Irwin Allen's fucking costume closet.
I just got this book of it's a gigantic book of a collection of all the props and everything that Irwin Allen ever used on any of his productions.
I want a Lost in Space ray gun.
Did you ever have a toy robot?
I
From
have
Lost in
actually,
Space, the Lost in Space robot.
Well, I actually have a toy robot right now. As a matter of fact, I turn left and I look about 25 feet and it's sitting there.
Well, before we leave Vince and get on to the classic stuff, on the topic of toy robots, I think I've told you I'm obsessed with this Antonio Inoki keychain I got. Because it's gigantic. It wouldn't even work as a keychain. I actually took the keychain part off of it, so now it's just a giant robed Antonio Inoki standing on a platform that does this. It's a keychain. People are supposed to walk around with this. He's chanting Ichi ni Sanda. It does that, and then it does this. I don't know what he says there, but it sounds awesome. And then I can never get it to do... Nope, see, it went back. All right, I'm going to give up. It has his music, too, but I can't get it to play his theme music, which is so...
Oh, that'd be the best part.
I know, it's the most rewarding theme music. It's so uplifting and, nice.
Da, 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 da,
Let's see, one more time.
Da, da, da.
Oh.
Sounds like he's also got a problem with constipation.
Anyone who speaks Japanese, please let me know. What is he saying here? And it sounds like he has a lot of reverb, so I don't know if he's in a studio or where he is. All right, let's turn this off.